New character. I'll just quickly show what she does. Passive just gives her some attack speed and a couple ranged autos. Normal basic. No chain, sadly. A little bit of damage. I'm not going to read all this. I'll just play her when she comes out. I'm not too worried about it. She has a pretty insane combo, though. These are so
Look,
loud.
the
When you
only
play against
the
her,
only
if you
losses are the
just
ones that you don't
stop her
that like
dash,
are
either
you
not getting hit
realize.
by
You know
it,
what I mean?
stasis it, flash it, whatever, she's very easy to kill. If she is allowed to reset her dash, much harder to play against. Um, so just watch out for the dash. That's how you play against this character. Should be very fun to play, though. What's up, Soy? Thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate it. We'll back to the bird nest, brother. Another assassin signed me up. Yeah, she's like a solo assassin. They're like assassin solo laner. She plays both. There'll be 4 skins, 4 different heroes, new recall in the battle pass. This will last until, I believe, 1.8, which is, I assume this is 1.8 state, which is August 26th. This should be 1.8. So you have like, a few months to get it, like 3.5, 4 months. Shouldn't be too difficult. They are not swapping the Opal store, so they will add stuff to the Opal store, but they're not rotating anything out. So everything that's currently in the Opal store, you'll still be able to get. I believe there's Chimera skin, Zara skin, new character skin, and I think a Gideon skin. And then obviously a bunch of other rewards like some crates and things like that. So yeah, that'll be fun. New character, Countess skin. We'll get that in 4K for you real quick. Enhance. Mommy. What's the fix? Meow. This is the Chimera skin. This is the Zara skin. Shouldn't be skin. This is in the Opal store, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is in the Opal store, not in the regular store. Or there's like a skin variant of this. It's in the Opal store. This, I believe, is also an Opal store skin. Then you have the new mode, Nitro's first one. Brawl is getting replaced. Brawl will no longer be available. If you want to play Brawl, play it now. We're gonna count this emote like the Bellico one you have. As soon as somebody makes a GIF of it. Uh, the Nitro mode is basically just a standard mode, but just faster. Like you get more gold, things like that. Like stuff is just faster. So everything is just sped up in terms of like economy and things like that. Like you spawn faster, like all that kind of stuff is just faster. So you just get things, you get to like game more quickly, and it's kind of just like you're playing Brawl on the default map, but you have a little bit more of like a laning phase and stuff like that. Brawl not really that popular game mode, so they're just gonna have it on a rotation. Map adjustments, they're like lowering some walls in the jungle, like this wall by Fort Camp, this wall by the top ropes going behind the tier 1. There's a few other spots, but that's pretty much it. They're just removing some of the sizes or some of the walls, so it creates a little bit more space, especially for some of the more vertically inclined characters. Like the jungle map adjustments, they're not bad. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Obviously, without playing on it like enough, like I'm sure people will find exploits on these or like stuff that's like not good or stuff that they do like and stuff. You just have to kind of play with it. Any change is better than no change, in my opinion. So for now, I'm fine with it. It'll definitely create like some more opportunities, hopefully, to get some like ganks and like jukes and things like that out. So that'll be nice. Rank party size changes, so you can 5 stack up to diamond. I really fucking hate this. I wish you could only 5 stack up to platinum. Anything higher than platinum is too much, in my opinion. You cannot 4 stack for toxicity reasons, and then also it's really hard to matchmake for people compared to a stack of 3 or 5. So stacks of 1, 2, 3, or a stack of 5. You could not 4 stack specifically, but everything else applies up until you hit diamond, and then you have to duo queue or single queue only. I wish this was stopped at platinum, but what can you do? Hopefully they learn in time that that's too high. At the very least, they should add an extra rank between diamond and paragon, in my opinion. Refer a friend will be added. Get loot cores and quantum cores. I don't know if you get anything else. Haven't really seen much of this system, so I don't actually know like enough about it. But yeah, refer a friend. Maybe it'll get more people to play the game. You can refer people that haven't played the game in a while as well. It doesn't have to be freshly brand new players, so that'll be pretty nice. You do get rewarded based on how much they play, though, so Keep that in mind. Don't invite somebody that's only going to play like once. Stack versus stacker is only stack versus anyone. It's anybody can queue. It's just a ranked queue. You just get put in the queue. You hate the stacking thing? I mean, it has the stacking thing is fine. It just goes too high. Like being able to stack in platinum is very silly, but stacking with below platinum, like bronze to gold, you'll see very little difference in terms of like win rates and things like that. Like if you're a gold player, you're going to be a gold player, regardless of if you're five stacking or not. But once you get higher than that, is when it starts to become a little bit more oppressive because then it's like harder to matchmake you in the first place and stuff like that. And then also like you're better players in general, so you make less mistakes. So therefore, it's harder for the enemy team to actually come back when you're actually stacked. So it goes too high in my opinion, but the actual concept of five stacking in lower ranks is completely fine in my opinion. What's up, MC? How you doing today? Yes, but it just goes too high in my opinion. What's up, D Flames? Good morning. Also, what's up, Caden? I don't know if I said hi to you. Well, I did say hi, but thank you for the 3 months. Hi again. I'm not gonna read all the augments out. I will scroll through them. I'll probably just talk about ones that I think will be really strong or like specific. Maybe I'll do like the ones I think are the strongest on each hero and just go over those ones. But I'm not gonna go over all of them because there's a lot. Um, so prior to level 10, this is really bad, I think. Basically, when you load into the game, you pick your character. Then after you pick your character, you have some time to pick which augments you want. You get one of three major character-specific ones, and then you have two minor ones that are selections of five. I'll go over the minor ones because you can get them on every character. But the hero-specific ones, I'm not going to go over all of them. I'll just try to pick one or like some here and there. I think bigger party size is a good thing when people only play with friends, more players. Like I said, yeah, it's more of like a lower level thing though. Like once you get to the higher ranks, it should 100% be a representation of your individual skill level, and they should not be stacking. Which is why I think the five stack goes too high. What's up, Almighty? Of course I'm on early, man. What wouldn't I be? Okay, this I think is really bad. Basically, when you're pre-level 10, you can't select certain augments. The game just default selects your augments. This is very silly in my opinion. And if you can't turn this off, this is a stupid fucking thing that they're doing. I don't know why they would ever try to limit somebody that's new to the game from picking an augment. This is very fucking stupid. I told Ace this was fucking stupid when he talked about this in someone's stream the other day. I think it was Crazy Fool's stream. This is fucking stupid. You should not just limit people from being able to select things in the game. If I load up the game because I see somebody streaming and I'm like, and they're playing like, I don't know, Crunch has like a knockup augment, and I'm like, I want to use that, and then I load up and I can't fucking use it because it's not the default one and I'm not level 10 yet. I would not play the game, I guarantee you. This is a stupid fucking system. They should remove this immediately. If they're not going to remove this, they should allow the ability to select which augments you have outside of the game on the main menu and then have it auto select so that you're not overwhelmed in game. But you should be able to pre-select your augment prior to loading into a match in general and just set it up for each character individually. That would be fine. But this system is very silly. Not being able to manually select which ones you want in the game is very silly until you're level 10. Very, very silly choice in my opinion. If it was like auto build and you could turn it off, it would be fine. But I believe it is not a bit like you're not able to turn this off, which is stupid. Think Eggs old game have that? We told Ace about it. I'll agree that was terrible. Different, a little bit different, but similar, along the same vein of like limiting mechanics. But yeah, this is very silly, very, very silly. Again, this is just talking about how you get like two minor ones and then one unique one. These are the minor ones. Every hero can have 4% healing based off damage dealt. Your ultimate doing 6%, your shield's doing 5%. You heal basically when you deal damage, and then your basic attacks reduce your cooldowns, kind of like Ashbringer. This one is probably one of the better ones. This one's okay. This one's okay for like Narbash or like Muriel, obviously. Other than that, not really that good. This one's really good, especially in like mid lane or in solo lane, jungle as well. But this one is really strong just because you get to sustain in lane, which means you can't get poked out. This is actually generally more sustained than this one, but this one is stronger in the later stages of the game once you actually have some damage. This one, not that good. It sounds really good on paper, but it's actually not that good. At least in mid lane, if you're like ADC, maybe it's a little bit more relevant, or like solo lane, or like character specific. But this one in general is not as good as it sounds on paper. Imagine not being able to pick Gravebreaker Severonic before level 10. True. That's probably going to be the default ones, but I don't know what the default ones are for each character. Okay, pool 2. This is like your second minor augment. 7% damage to minions and monsters. This one is really good. It sounds not that good, but this is actually really good. Being able to clear faster is really strong, especially early game. This also means you clear objectives faster. This is a really strong one that looks bad on paper or like doesn't look as impactful as it actually is. Don't underestimate how strong this one is. Getting your mana back over time. This one is pretty bad, honestly. Like really bad. It's really not that good. You don't have that much mana in general. Like early game, you have like 600 mana, so you're getting 2% of that over 4 seconds. It's very little. You don't actually get that much mana. I don't think this one will be picked up very much, or people will try it and then realize that it's not that good. This is really not great. Out of combat movement speed, this is pretty good, but it's not like super strong or as strong as people might think it is. Very strong, but not like OP. I would argue that this one is probably stronger just for the fact that like if you're gonna roam anyways, which is what you want to do with this one, if I out clear you because I have this, I just roam faster than you will with this because you have to still clear the wave, and then the movement speed doesn't make up for the difference in clear speed. So I would argue this one is better, but this one isn't bad either. If you're getting poked out of lane or you're gonna have to back a lot, not bad to pick up just because you can get back to lane faster, especially if you're in like solo lane against like a Morrigesh or something. Steadfast, obviously really good, especially on tanks, supports. I mean, getting free tenacity and damage reduction, even on like squishy characters, 5% flat damage reduction is really strong. This one will be probably one of the more picked up ones. If not this one, I think they're the two best by far. This one is also incredible, dealing an extra 6%. You just get Wraith leggings for free. Very strong as well. Map changes. There's some small like walls being lowered and stuff like that. Bravo. That's about it though. Nothing like too crazy, but just like small things here and there make a big difference. Could open up some new pathways or like jukes and things like that. What's up, Cal? How are you doing today? Meow. But yeah, the second augment that you have three really good options in my opinion, and then one like decent option. As far as the first one, you really only kind of have two good options, arguably three, unless it's like very character specific. Orgus, I think the movement speed one is probably going to be the best. He has one that gives a mana, one that increases ult range. These two are a little bit more gimmicky. The one that gives you movement speed is really strong. Aurora, you can get her wall to move further. She gets attack speed when she has her passive, or you can make the ult larger. Obviously, making the ult larger is really good, but all three of hers are actually pretty strong. I think the wall one is probably the weakest, but not like so weak that it's like unbuildable. She's probably one of the only characters that has three like actual good augments. I do think the alt one is probably the best though. Why three augments per? You feel that's a lot? Well, because it changes the way you can play the game. You only get to pick one. You get two minors and one major. So like of these three character specific ones, you only get to have one. But it just to add more variety to the game. Because like the more options that you have from, the more differences in terms of like matchups that you can have. Upload patch notes to YouTube. I will, don't worry. I'll upload this one because it's a pretty big patch. Boris, all of his kind of suck, honestly. None of them are really that good. You can make your right click do more damage when people are low. You can get prot shred on the sniff when you actually hit somebody, or you can get armor when you have your passive activated. I think the passive one is probably his best one, but I mean, I don't think any of these really help him particularly that much. If you're going to gank solo lane a lot, maybe the sniff one is decent, where you can reduce their prots and solo to gank. But in general, I don't think any of his are that great. Crunch, you can get attack speed from your passive. Not bad, especially since his ability to scale with attack speed, so it's not too bad. Your dash goes further. This is probably his best one. And then this one is more gimmicky. You just knock somebody up super high. And I mean like really high. If you've ever seen Kalari 2 and she gets like the height on her 2, the jump, that's about how high you knock somebody up. This is pretty funny, but it's not really like that OP, but it'll be pretty funny to use, and I could definitely see some clips made with that one. I suck already. This is going to make you even dumber. This might make you better, actually, to be honest. Because if you get a small grasp on this, like you'll put yourself in a much better position than people that don't know what they're doing. Rick Ruffling, Denim, pipe down, buddy. Okay. Fuck are you even talking about Warriors X? You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. What fucking item is Warriors X? That shit's not an item, Denim. Stop talking. Okay. What's up, Void? Crunch 4 time knock up into a Boris ult. I mean, it's pretty funny seeing it in game, but I don't think it'll be that good. Decker, you give your teammates movement speed when you double jump if you want. Decent. I think this is her one, I believe. It gets reduced cooldown whenever you hit somebody. The minor augment. Denim, what the fuck are you talking about? What minor augment, buddy? What Berserker's Axe? What Warrior's Axe, man? What item is called fucking Warrior's Axe, pal? Go ahead, what item? What item is called Warrior's Axe, man? Go ahead. Think about it. What item is called Warrior's Axe? None of them. None of these. You absolute bot. It's not a fucking item. You're just making shit up. Bot. Like, what are you even talking about? This is why I hate Denim, man. Just go back to watching. I'm sorry, Denim. But also, you're a bot. The fuck are you talking about, Warriors X? The fuck are you talking about? What are you even comparing it to, Denim? Is what I want to know. Like, what item are you even comparing it to? Denim wants to be noticed. I just don't know what he's even talking about. The Pants Brigade a bad name with this information? Smite item? Oh, well, why did you fucking say that? I thought you were talking about fucking Pred item. Why did I talk about Smite? We're reading Pred patch notes, man, is talking about a Smite item. Base strength item and Smite. I don't play Smite, so I don't know what it is. I don't know what the Smite 2 augments are. I feel like that's on you not giving me the right information there, Denim. I'm going to be honest. Not trying to roast you, but at the same time, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because it's a game that I'm not playing, man. I'm sorry, though. Not trying to roast you, I promise. You know I love you. Give you a little kiss. That's just for you, Denim. Okay, anyways, back to Decker. You can make their one lower cooldown whenever you hit somebody. Not that great. Ult being larger range and shreds armor. This is both armors, magical and physical, which is really strong. I think this is probably her best, but the movement speed one is not bad. So Ace in here, you quit changing mana bars to pips. Yeah, how about we change 5 stacking rank not to be to diamond and be to platinum? What happened to that one?
For it, my mama always said life was like a box of augments. You never know how much dumb you're gonna get.
True. Epic to go, thank for the follow.
The party's this way.
It's easier to read enemy mana bars. Real and true, actually, did them. Real and true. The recent kiss sounds. Stop. That's not for you. That's for Denim. You're not supposed to hear those. What's up, P2? Good morning. Okay, on the draw and go. His Gag Grenade restores health. This one is like decent, but it's not like super OP. Red Rails deals an extra 30 damage AoE on explosion. Also not that good. Shrapnel Cannon being lower cooldown, but it does a lot less damage. This one is really strong. It makes you very hard to gank, and you can create a lot of space in team fights. You also still get the full shred effect, as that doesn't get reduced. This is probably his best augment by far. Will be pretty strong, very ungankable character with this, especially between like his silence and his slow and things like that. Will be very strong. It just does a lot less damage, obviously. Feng Mao, killing stuff, you get heals on your ult. If you kill stuff with your ult, you get a heal. This one's okay, not great, not bad, just decent. Feng Mao auto attack, reducing damage, and also making Feng Mao deal more damage to the person that he auto attacks. This one will be very strong. Probably his best augment, and then you can knock people up with his ult. If you're playing tank Feng Mao, I guess it's okay, or you're getting like a 2-3 man ult, etc., or maybe you're just trying to like knock somebody up so your teammate can catch up, something like that. It's okay. I don't think this one is that good though, to be honest. Could set up some good clips, but I don't think it's actually that good in terms of like the metagame. Gadget, Sticky Mine getting extra radius, probably her best augment. The homing speed on the 3 is also probably pretty good. Haven't really explored it enough to really know if it's going to be better or not than the mine augment, but this one is also pretty decent, at least just looking at it in testing, like just like practice and things like that. So I think this one could be really good. I just haven't played with it, and I haven't seen anybody use it, so I don't know if it's actually that good. How's basic attack not busted in off lane? Because imagine, Denim, you're healing 2% of your missing max HP on top of the fact that you're healing from your crest. It's much stronger than it looks. 0.15 on your autos really is not that good when you really think about it, because you need like 6 autos to get 1 second off your ability. It's not as good as you think, Denim. Just when you play with it, Denim, you'll be like, all right, it's not actually that good. It was a little better, but they nerfed it a little bit. In testing, I think it was like 0.25, and it was a lot stronger, but at 0.15, it's just really not that good. Once you actually use it, you'll be like, okay, it's not actually that good. Just try it first, and then you'll see. Gadget's probably the gate gives a shield to herself and to her allies. This one's actually not that good. I thought this was going to be her best one by far when I first read it, but at like 4 or 5 items, it's like a 200 HP shield. That's really not that much, but it could make a difference. It's not a bad augment. I just don't think it's better than her other 2 augments, but definitely not bad. Gideon dealing an extra 5% in the center. It's kind of like Decker ults, where like in the center it stuns. It's a very small target, but it is very good if you can actually hit it. Probably his best augment by far. Shield in his ultimate. Again, also not that big of a shield late game. Like 4 items is probably like a 300 HP shield. If you're going to go True Silver, it's not bad. Or if they don't have a way to cancel you, it's not that bad. But I don't think it's like insane, especially since it's tied exclusively to your ultimate. Whereas you could just be doing 5% max HP every 6 seconds or whatever. Void Breach having infinite range. Gimmicky, not actually that good. Generally, when you play Gideon, you kind of want to Void Breach like at the max distance so that it explodes and then the explosion hits them in case you miss. So this is actually not that good, but it will be kind of funny. It might make some funny clips. Not as good as it actually sounds on paper because it's generally like a negative most of the time. The map's also not super like open, so like it's not like you're throwing this from across the map in almost any situation. Might be decent if you're playing like support though. Does Bellica proc it 3 times? Bellica proc what? Oh no, it procs once. Well, I'm pretty sure she procs it at the 35% effectiveness. So I think like it's like 1 point or it's a 0.17 seconds or something for Bellica.
Look, the only
White Walker, thank
the
you for the
only
resub. I
losses are the
appreciate
ones
21
that you
months.
don't
Welcome back to the
that,
Birdnest.
like are realized. You know what I mean?
Greystone, make way deal an extra 15% damage to the nearest unit. Decent, not bad. All of Greystone augments are pretty good in my opinion. His ult deals more damage and has larger radius. Probably his best one, just due to the fact that you slow it does more damage. Obviously, especially since they made it do more damage in general. I think in 1.4 they made it do like it has like 110% scaling or something. So his ult will do a lot more damage when you have this. Will be very decent, especially combined with like dealing the one that makes your ultimate deal more damage, things like that. If you want to play a little bit more Bruiser Greystone. Blight on his 2, 50%. This is the strongest Blight in the game. It's the only thing that applies 50% Blight. So, like, against healing comps, I could see this being used. I don't know if this will actually be good or not, but in specific games, I could definitely see this being a really strong augment, just due to the fact that it's the highest anti-heal in the game. Grim, you get a shield when you block something, as well as movement speed. This one, I think, is pretty good. Although most of Grim's I don't think are that great, but this is probably his best one. If you're playing like ability-based Grim, his passive resets his basic ability cooldown, so you can just one somebody passive proc and then continue to box. This one will be pretty good, especially in like mid, or if you're just playing like a poke oriented Grim. I could see this one also being really good. It's between this one and the first one being his best. The ult being reset if you kill somebody, kind of like Feng Mao Ultimate. It's not that good. It's very rare you kill somebody with Grim ult. It gets blocked more often than not. If you do get a reset and you're going to use it again, they're probably dead anyways. It's just not amazing, but it could be fun. I could definitely see some good clips. If somebody gets a penta of this, I'll give you $5. I'm just kidding. That's not real. But it would be funny. I would love to see the clip if you do get a penta. But, I don't got $5 in the PayPal, so I can't give you that, unfortunately. Grux, his ult gets extended if you hit somebody. Not terrible. I don't know if this is infinite. It would be kind of funny if it was, but I don't know if it is. If you had enough attack speed, obviously. You heal based off your... Basically, his old passive. When you have full stacks, you get percent healing. I don't think this is actually that good. It did get nerfed a little bit, but it's not like OP or anything like that. You're just going to buy anti-heal against them anyways. As far as his other one, it just lowers his blink cooldown. Probably his best one, specifically in jungle. I don't think really any of these are that great, but the blink one being slower cooldown, it makes it you get ganked less often. You can get in there like flash knockup, flash ult, things like that a little bit more often. More of a jungle thing than like a solo thing, but it will make you get ganked less in solo. I think his jungle would be pretty decent. Howitzer, all of his kind of stink, honestly. Landmine is probably his best one. Is it additional or replace? What do you mean, is it additional or replace? Grux support the blink CDR item. I don't know if it affects your blink if you have the CDR item. Otherwise, it might be decent. Are those the changes? Yeah, just a lower walls denim. For Grux passive? Oh, it's just additional. Like, you just get this added on. So, like, when you have your passive fully stacked on somebody, you then get healing, which is what it used to be. It's weaker than what it used to be, but you just get healing in general when you have full stacks on somebody. But you have to hit the person that's full stacks, I believe. as opposed to just getting it in general, which is what it was before. You just got it in general if somebody had full stacks. What's up, Caramel? Meow. Howitzer, landmine, knocks people further back. This includes himself. This is probably his best one, just makes you harder to gank, allows you to get more, like, poke people out of position, things like that, push people further out of the fight or into the fight. Movement speed and ultimate, also not bad, but it's not that, like, OP either. Good into specific matchups if you're against, like, Richter or something like that. You don't want to get hooked out of your ult, or, like, Belica, you can maybe avoid her ult so you don't get silenced. Other than that, not, like, as good as the first one, I think, but definitely okay. And then the basic attacks, giving you attack speed, gimmicky, could do some fun stuff with it. I don't think it'll be actually that good though, but it's pretty funny, especially if you go like what's it called, like Ashbringer and the other augment that lowers your cooldown and stuff. It could be pretty funny. You can get some pretty low cooldowns on your abilities. You're tired? Sorry to hear that, Caramel. Wake up a little bit. I got a little Red Bull right here, bro. I got you. I'll take a sip just for you. If you were here, I'd spit it into your mouth. What? Iggy turrets, you get an extra one. Probably his best augment. The White Peach Red Bull. This is Wild Berries. It's the seasonal one. I believe it's the summer edition. Got back from the ER. Was there for 6 hours. What were you at the ER for? Screen check on Howie autos is the secret tech, giving people seizures. I'm pretty sure you can turn screen shake on auto attacks off now, so I don't think that happens anymore. Iggy ult doing more damage and knocks people further back. Not great, but decent self-peel. Usually this ability gets cancelled. Unless you're insta-canceling this, it's probably not that good in general. 4 turrets is definitely his best augment by far. The Molly explosion getting flat damage increase is also okay. I think it's more of like a solo lane thing, but it's not terrible. I used it a couple times. You can get this up to like, 400 damage maybe on the right click, just initial hit, which is not too bad, especially considering it's a low cooldown. You do have to be hitting like all of your mollies in lane though to get this going early, otherwise it's kind of an issue. But 4 turrets probably his best one. Clory, takedowns reducing your basic ability cooldown is not terrible. Definitely a decent one. The knife's reducing its own cooldown and refunding mana. Not that good, but it is kind of funny late game. Not that good though. The basic ability one being reduced is probably her best, and then making her abilities crit can also be good. But it does make you go like a weird build where you have to go like no cooldown because you end up going like Vanquisher and stuff like that. So you just kind of have like no cooldown in the build, which is kind of the biggest problem. But it could be decent depending on maybe somebody figured out a build where you can still fit cooldown in there. Chimera getting extra jump range, never bad. You can just get in there more. Getting extra power in the jungle is probably his best augment. You just become an absolute menace. You clear faster in general on your side because you get power in your own side, but you get double in the enemy jungle. This is probably his best augment by far. You just get to invade for free, basically. You're unfightable early game. In solo lane, you'll be able to kill off minions if you get his third one. If you're playing it solo, it'll be pretty fun. It plays very similar to the Grux, though. It's hard to fight him in lane 1v1. But he is just going to jump on you every wave, so if your jungler is there, he just dies for free. It's not like he can use his sick mobility to dash away, like he's kind of in there, or he's not. So very similar to Grux. If you play against a Chimera solo, just gank him. It's free kills every time, I promise you. Kai invade jungle will make it so laners will have to help their jungle and jungle. Correct. If you're against a Chimera, yes. Kira, right click gets lower cooldown and costs less mana upon dealing damage. I don't think it's that good. Probably not going to be used very much. Just doing 8% missing HP when you have max stacks on somebody. This works on objectives. So, like, if you full stack an objective, you can actually queue the objective and do, like, 1,000 damage to the objective. So, it's basically a smite. Pretty decent one. Probably her best one. The ultimate healing is also not terrible, but I don't think it's OP or anything like that. Especially if your ult just gets canceled anyways. Calling, you can make his passive reduce more cooldowns and do more damage. This is not 30% of the cooldown, by the way. This is 30% more, so it removes, I believe, 0.5 seconds, if that's right. Maybe it might be 1 second. It just increases the amount of cooldown that it already gives you. So it'll be like 0.8 seconds or 1.3 seconds. I forget what his base is right now, but it probably his best augment. AoE Aura for Omnivamp is not terrible. Not great either. He is AoE damage, so he actually gets like less than it sounds. Like it says 3%, but because his abilities are AoE, you only get 1% technically, because AoE abilities don't heal at 100%. So not as great as it actually sounds on paper, but not terrible. The ult getting lower cooldown and then also being able to ult back to lane because your sword doesn't go back is also good. Not even for the fact that you can TP back to lane, but just for the fact that it's a lower cooldown. Being able to just ult off cooldown in lane or just ult like Q ult somebody in their jungle and then have it up again is really strong. So this is probably his like arguably his best augment. It just depends on your play style. If you want to play a little bit more aggressive and just kind of fight in the lane, the passive one is better, but in general, the ult is probably like a little bit more consistent. What's up, Superbot? How are you doing today, man? Nice cock. Belica, you can make Void Bomb do more damage to isolated targets. This is actually a decent amount of damage. Early game, it ends up being like 25 to 30 damage or so. They have to be single target. So I don't know if this is actually like they can't be around people or the bomb only has to hit one person. It's kind of hard. It was kind of hard to tell when I was testing this. It does work on minions though, so you can use it on like red buff if you're leashing, things like that. It's just hard to tell if it's like you only hit one person and it works, or if it just has to be like not within the range of somebody else. It was hard to tell, but definitely not terrible. This XP one though is definitely her best by far. Getting free XP just for existing, you can get an easy 2-level lead on somebody. Being even on like farm, absolutely insane. And Belica scales harder off levels than any other character in the game. Since at max rank on abilities, she gets absolutely insane. Is this exclusive to minions? So this works on everything. So like camps, players, 1v1s, like it works on everything. But generally, your XP value that you're going to get, getting your abilities leveled up and things like that, will just make you do more damage than the isolated targets in general. But the isolated targets is pretty good early game. It just like it doesn't scale as well as getting free gold and XP. Well, free XP, not gold, but you get the idea. This also means you can rotate more without losing as much. Getting extra scaling on your auto attacks, gimmicky, not as good in general, but it's all right. Can't go on YouTube with me blasting me. You need me to re-record this. I'm just messing with you, Denim. You're actually so good at the game. You're so handsome and awesome. Holy shit. You're the second best Richter in my chat. God, you're so good, Denim. You've improved so much. You used to be a little watcher, and now you're a gamer. I got you, bro. You can clip that just so, it evens out. Would Combat Vet be good for Belica Sport? It would be good in general. It's her best one by far. You just get it for existing. It's very good. New sub alert? Yeah, you wish, buddy. Paulina has a nice hairline. All right, let's not go too crazy, okay? Mortgage Auto, Shred Armor, not super good. Does work with her passive a little bit if you're going to go like Prophecy or something. Not insane. Mortgage ult cooldown, she just gets Astral Catalyst, basically. So when you get assists and stuff like that, you get your ult cooldown reduced. Not that good, to be honest. I wonder if you build this with Astral, though. If you ult somebody and they die, if you get like 40 seconds off your ult, that would be pretty insane. But I haven't seen anybody really play her on the test server or anything like that. Your Q doing extra damage, then also being increased range is really nice. The big problem with Mortgage like Q is it doesn't go far enough, and it'll fall like right at people's feet a lot of the time. So like it getting extra range and damage is really nice. Morn, casting abilities makes his passive lower cooldown pretty decent. Applying Contagion on your ult is really strong, especially if you have like Primal, because this applies damage to all the enemies, like your one. It basically just applies your one, so you get the Prot Shred and the damage on your ult. This will proc like Primal and things like that and items and stuff. So I actually think this one is probably his best. Very, very strong. And then obviously you can, Spider Morn yourself up and pull yourself onto ledges and things like that. This one's also really good if you use it correctly. But I think the ult one is probably a little bit more consistent. Either one of these is really good. Even the passive one is decent if you're playing like solo lane. Being able to hit somebody with their strong hand, cast all of your abilities, then hit them with your strong hand again. Very strong in terms of trading patterns. I just don't know if it's as good as the other two. The other two are really strong if used correctly. Billy Morn could build Mega. That would be so toxic. I mean, it's still really good. Especially if you're like, think of it as like a Murdoch snipe or something like that, right? Like, imagine your solo laner's playing in the lane. The enemy solo is like half HP. You Morn ult. You proc your damage off your one on them. It prot shreds. And then the Murdoch snipe comes in and just does like 1,000 damage. Like, you can do some really crazy shit with this. Or if you have Primal, like I was playing a game on test server. We were scrimming on test server. The enemy team had Primal. We traded Orb. The enemy Morn ulted, so we couldn't back, and then they ended the game because we couldn't back. Like, you could do shit like that. Like, it's really strong. Because you're getting damage, so you can't back with that. What's up, Ants? Good morning. Hello, man. Good morning. Simp, good morning. But it'll be really good. Murdoch, you get an extra 2 static traps. Not great. Piercing shot and extra range on your passive is really strong. This is probably his best one. And then the ult doing more damage, and you get extra gold on hero kills. Also really good. Not insane though. It's a little bit less. It's a little bit less consistent in terms of when you actually get to use this because it's so tied to your ultimate, whereas the passive is just always up. and you're getting it way more often. The ult is not bad. It's just like, again, tied to your ultimate. So if your ult's not up, you're not getting any value out of this. Whereas the piercing one, you're always getting value out of. Also makes his clear really high. Being able to like passive auto through the wave and then right click the wave is like a lot of clear. It'll be very fast clear. Wonder how hard Murdoch Snipe will hit with the small augment ult damage with his augment for his ult combined. I mean, if they're below 40%, Murdoch ult's probably already killing you, to be honest, most of the time. But I mean, it might just absolutely slam. I'm sure somebody will figure out like a full power build that'll be pretty funny, where you just end up doing like a ton of damage with it. Can you pierce through enemy heroes? I believe it pierces through enemy, like anything. I could be wrong though. It might stop on hero hits. I haven't used it myself. I've just seen people play it, and it seems like the best augment by far. And that's what Survivor was saying, was that it's his best augment. Muriel, like, reduces current cooldowns on the target. So if you shield your target with your right click, it lowers the person that you shielded cooldowns. Not insane, but also not bad. I could see this being used in comp. I just don't know if it's good enough to be used. Getting CC immunity and granting cleanses to your team when you ult them. So like you ult them, they become CC immune for 2 seconds. This one is really strong. Probably her best augment by far. And then her one drains mana. Decent. I don't know how good this actually is, but draining 10% of somebody's current mana is pretty strong, especially if you play with like a Belica maybe. I could see like some cheesy stuff where you play like this plus Muriel, or you play like specific matchups like you're in a Narb, so draining his mana is really strong. So like stuff like that could be pretty decent. I could see it being good, but I think the CC cleanse and the CC immunity that you grant your teammate when you ult them is probably the best one by far. Narbash giving your team attack speed when you use his one. Is it his one? Sorry, his three? Is it his three that's March? I forget Narbash's abilities. No, it's his one. Okay, yeah, it is his one. So when you use your March, your movement speed increase, you give your teammates attack speed as well. Very strong. I thought I was tripping for a second, Supermans. Thank you. Restore mana when you deal damage, or when taking damage. Not that great. You get full mana regen anyways on like 2 items. Not as good unless you're just kind of bad at playing Narbash. Not that good. It will be decent in the lane, but it falls off once you get like an item or two. Whereas the other ones just kind of get better. Prot Shred on your ultimate, it shreds both, again, magical and physical, not just one. This is really good into specific matchups, specifically like Steel or something like that. As you'll shred his prots, he'll be very, very squishy, especially if you have True Silver, you can't get your ult canceled. I think this one needs a little bit more testing. The attack speed is probably the best, but I could definitely see the ultimate one being strong, especially in like a tank meta, which this patch will probably be more of a tank meta. Phase. We don't care about phase. We're just going to skip that. You can pause it and clip it if you want to see it. I think all of her augments kind of suck. Okay, I'll actually read it. But you give your teammate mana when you're linked. It's one of her augments. I don't think it's amazing. Your lance is shorter, but it does a lot more damage. I also don't think it's amazing, but if you want to play her mid, it's okay. What's up, JPie? How are you doing today? And then her ult gives extra movement speed and max health regen. Probably her best one, but I don't think it's like getting anything insane. I don't think any of her augments are that crazy. Maybe it'll be playable in mid. Who knows? So I don't think it's amazing. Someone clip that for Astro. You could set it to her, bro. Go for it. Rampage ones. All the Rampage ones are pretty good. Rumble having no cooldown but cost mana. You will absolutely shit on your mana when you do this. It's not as good as it sounds, but it is pretty funny to watch. Not that insane, though. Rampage rock being able to take this out in midair is really nice, because that means you can jump and pull the rock out. You don't get rooted while you're pulling it out. It also does more damage based on the distance that you throw it. I think this is probably his best augment, although the one below it where you get extra attack speed and you gain some crit and you get smaller in your ult. This one's not terrible. What's called? It's not terrible, but it's not insane. It is pretty funny, but I don't think it's as good as the rock one. I think it's more gimmicky, and you do take a lot more damage when you're in this, so you could just kill the Rampage. He is a little bit harder to hit, though, because he's so small. I wouldn't be sad to see somebody build this one, but I do think the rock throw just doing more damage and being able to pull it out easily is definitely his best one. The tiny one, though, is pretty funny to watch, and definitely has its uses. Rock out of thin air, bro, is getting now. Nah, he had that stored in the prison wallet, buddy. Sam, your goat. Who is Sam? Sam who? Sam I am. Revenant reloading faster, not that good, honestly. The ult one where you ult somebody, you steal some of their power, physical and magical, and if you kill them, you get 50%
Rock
of the
out,
stats
cock out.
permanently. Excuse me? What was that, Savage? Anyways, sorry, choose my alter ego. This one's pretty good in like ranked and like casuals. You could scale with this potentially if you're getting a lot of kills with your ultimate. Not as good as the other one though, which is just your 4-shot does more damage and ignores bonus armor. This one makes the 4-shot start hitting for like 1300, 1400 late game. Even on tanks, it is a very strong one. This is probably his best one by far. The ultimate one is a little bit more gimmicky, but could be very strong if you get a couple early kills with it and start scaling. Richter, you can make the hook a little bit further and it reduces cooldown when you hit it. I don't think it's that good. If you're hitting every hook anyways, you probably don't need more hooks by a lower cooldown. Like you're just going to be killing people anyways. Not terrible, but I think it's like not as good as it could be. The electrocute getting more damage to monsters and more movement speed. Very good for jungle. Okay in support. Not amazing, but movement speed is always good. Means you can get in there to ult and stuff. Holy, coffee has arrived, boys. Massive W. Just got here. Start from the top. Peasant, thanks. That's all right. It'll be on YouTube later. Richter's next one, you just get damage healing based on the amount of damage they take. This one is also really good, especially in support and solo lane. Just being able to regen a bunch of damage, especially as a frontliner, is really nice. Very, very strong augment. He'll be very hard to kill, especially with the other augment that gives you health regen anyways. So you just get the stack health regen, he becomes very strong. So stack with rainwind. It's not base regen, but theoretically you would heal out of combat, and then this would heal you in combat, so it is very good. Are monsters jungle minions only or include lane minions? Monsters are just jungle minions. Jungle minions and major objectives. So like Orb Prime and stuff like that. But the regen one is really good. Is that not busted in solo? It's very strong, but obviously if you get anti-healed, you get reduced in general and things like that. I think this one giving you extra movement speed is probably better. Also, this one in solo could be really strong if you're just hooking somebody in lane, like you're just doing max HP every hook, so getting 30% cooldown on your hook early game could be pretty strong. But regen is probably his best one, unless you're playing jungle, in which case you're going to get movement speed and damage just so you can clear and stay on par with other junglers. But all of his augments are pretty decent. The hook one probably the worst one, but the other two are like very strong depending on where you're playing them. Sereth, basically you just get Draconin passive if you kill somebody and you pick up your orb, you get a little bit of healing. Not amazing, not bad. Being able to crit while your ult is active, you just get an extra little bit of crit chance. Also not insane. Your one does not crit. You just get crit chance while your ult is active. This does include if you just pick up an orb. Also not insane. Being able to stun when you land on somebody with your 2, absolutely busted. Giga broken. Build this every game. It is absolutely busted. Super broken. Build this every game. It is absolutely busted. AoE stun on her jump. You land, you get a free auto attack into your right click and do an auto cancel, and then you Q into them. What are they going to do? They're dead already. Absolutely busted, insane. AoE stun in team fights. Very annoying. Very cringe. Breaks abilities, like it cancels abilities, etc. Very broken. Absolutely insane. Build this one every game. Unless you're trying to have fun, and then maybe this one, but it's only if you're trying to have fun. If you had no idea how that got through quality control, this is absolutely like insane. Mini stuns are very strong. Sevarog, this is probably his best augment, I think, but I haven't really seen many people try it, just because I think people are having fun with the Gravebreaker one, being able to knock people back. Also very strong, you just basically take somebody out of a team fight. I don't think it's as good. You do become like ungankable because you just ult people like across the lane and shit. I don't think it's that insane though, to be honest. As far as just getting stacks earlier and being able to reset your dash on your ult, I think it's just better. But either one is fine. As far as the executing enemies, I don't think it's that great. If you suck at stacking on Sev, maybe it's good because then you'll stack a little easier because you'll just get your execute. I don't think it's that great though. I do think the first one is probably his best. The third one is okay as well. Shimby, you get 2 stacks of your ult when you hit somebody with your 2, I believe. Or is this her right click? Is this her dash? I think it's her dash, actually, sorry. You get 2 stacks of your ult on somebody when you dash through them. Decent, not great. Hitting abilities reduces your passive cooldown, like your auto attack, your enhanced auto, your 4 times damage auto. Not insane. Pretty dog shit, honestly. And then the last one is more of a jungle one. You get free haste when you clear jungle camps. I don't think it's actually that good. The main reason being when you play Shinbi, you're already going to be building haste, and haste gets diminishing returns. So, like, unless you're going to build a 0 haste build, this is not good. So, like, it's not as good as it sounds on paper. Are the scoreboard bugs fixed? I don't know. I haven't read any of the bugs. Skylar, reduce cooldown on the 1 when you hit people. Very strong will be very good, especially since the 1 is already a super strong slow. The next one is also really good. You just get extra range when you're in your 2, which is pretty good. It means you can actually get like height and walk people down with this a little bit. That's very strong. Building Draconum free item slot. I mean, you could just like not build Draconum at all anyways. How about that? Skill issue. Will you see the scoreboard, the common and character specifics? Yes, you will. So like you'll see the default one they have, and then if you hover over it in the scoreboard, you'll be able to see the other 2 that they selected. Hit the haste one, make an HP build viable on her. Well, like you already build HP, so like when you play Shinbi, you're building like Oathkeeper, right? Like stuff like that, Tainted Scepter. Those already have HP on them, but they also have cooldown, right? Magnify already has cooldown and HP. So like the only items that you're gonna be building would be like Worldbreaker that doesn't have cooldown. So unless you're gonna go like Dreambinder or Worldbreaker or something like that, some weird type of build like that, where you're not really going like Oathkeeper and stuff, you're gonna have cooldown either way. So you're gonna get diminishing returns, and then as a result, it's not gonna be as valuable for Shinbi. Tank Shinbi application maybe. Yeah, but again, if you're building tank, you're gonna have cooldown anyways. That's the problem, right? That's the problem with it. But it's not terrible. If you go like Orb, like Orb Worldbreaker, or like Orb Dreamminer Worldbreaker, like you could do something like that and probably get away with it maybe. But it's just like I don't know if it's as like actually that good because like you just end up having like a slightly worse build. But maybe it's good just because you get cooldown anyways. Maybe the build is actually good if you can have cooldown. But maybe somebody figures out some like absolutely busted build, but I just don't think it's as good as her first one. Just being able to get extra like ult stacks immediately is really strong. But I think all of her augments are kind of like not great. Anyways, Skylar Ultimate. She fires 3 ult shots. I actually didn't. They changed this one. It used to just be it goes through walls, which was kind of gimmicky, and fun. This one I actually haven't seen. Dealing 42% of the original damage, so it ends up doing 120%. Could be really strong actually. I don't know. I haven't seen this one, so I don't actually know if it's good or not. This might actually be really strong though. We'll have to see that in game. Could be her best augment. I just haven't seen it because it's new even to me. Like I haven't seen this on the test server or anything like that. That's kind of fun. I mean, it might be really good. I actually don't know how strong that one is. You do hover when you ult, so you can sit in the air longer with this one potentially and juke abilities and stuff. So that might be actually really strong. Sparrow, getting kills, reset your basic cooldowns. Not that good. If you killed somebody, what the fuck do you need your basic cooldowns dead? The cooldowns again, they're already dead. Not that insane. Sparrow 2 gives her movement speed and a little bit of stealth. Not insane. Sounds people are like, oh my god, Sparrow invincible. It's a second. It doesn't mean much. And if you're invisible and walking, you're not auto attacking, which means you're not getting the bonuses from your stim, which is your attack speed stim. So it's not insane as it sounds. The ult one getting an extra 2 arrows, and then also getting increased range. This is really strong. You will actually one-shot somebody. I watched a Sparrow ult somebody and kill them in like 2 shots. This does an insane amount of damage if you're able to hit all 5 arrows on somebody. Very, very strong ability. Probably her best by far. It's not even close. Like, absolutely insane. Ult one the best on Sparrow. By far, it's not even close. Do you lose the movement speed if you auto out of invis? Yes, because autoing removes your invis. Steel, you become CC immune and you get damage reduced in your dash. Good in the certain matchups, like if you're playing against Richter and the Richter goes to hook you, you can dash into the hook. You don't get stunned by the hook, and then you dash through him, and then you knock him up, and then you just beat his ass. Very strong in specific matchups. Good into like Aurora. Like if you dash through an Aurora, you can't get rooted. You can't get ulted by Aurora. You're just CC immune. You can dash through a Faye ultimate, stuff like that. Like very strong ability in specific matchups. Other than that, the Shield Slam is probably his best one. The first one is just matchup specific. The ult one is just decent. Like, it's just good in all matchups. You just knock people back. You knock people into your team, or you knock them out of the team fight. Like, you push them away from the team fight. Just very strong, as long as you use it correctly. You just have to be careful of... If you have a steal on your team, check his augment to make sure you don't ult or like use your abilities on top of the steal ult, and then he pushes them out of your abilities. That's just a big thing. Just make sure that you're paying attention to that specifically. If you have a steal on your team, and if you are playing steal, make sure your team is aware that they will not be knocked straight up, as you're going to have 3 years of muscle memory built up. The shield one is really bad. It's too small. It's bad. Don't build this one. It's actually tiny. Like this shit is small as fuck. It makes me look large. Okay, don't build this one. It's terrible. It makes 1.25 look impressive. Okay, your shield will not exist. You just remove an ability from your kit. Basically a crunch one. What's a crunch one? What are we talking about? 1.25 men's packing over here. What can I say, man? Terror gets damage reduction and a right click. Not insane. I don't think there's any drops on right now. I think they have drops with the next patch though, which should be next patch. Or they have ion cores right now, actually, right? I think it's drops. You gotta put an S on that. Try this. There you go. I think it's an ion core actually. Now I think about it. Their reduction when you charge your right click, your leveling this ability lasts anyways, and it gets canceled, then you don't get damage reduction. Very bad. I don't think it's that good. If you're ulting though and dashing, you do get to technically get this reduction during your ult while you're dashing. So like in that sense, it's okay. I don't think this is actually that good though. It looks better on paper than it is. Her axe being picked up from the ground, so that when you throw the axe, it'll be placed on the ground when it lands, and then it reduces the cooldown by 40% if you pick that back up. This one seems really good. This one is her best one by far. It allows you to just kind of get a lot of trades early game. Like imagine you walk into the lane, you get hit by this shit, and then she just picks it up and hits you again with it. Like she will just beat your head in with this. Probably her best one by far. Is that if you miss? This is in general. It'll just always. So they changed the ability. You'll see it later. They changed the ability to be just like an arc. So like it'll just hit the ground eventually no matter what. And then you can just pick it back up and then you can throw it again. Otherwise, it just goes on normal cooldown. It's very strong ability. You don't have to hit anybody. You just have to throw it. And then you can pick back up. It's very strong. Her best by far. It's Chalk 2. No, it's not Chalk 2. It's kind of like Tsukiyomi 1. Or yeah, Tsukiyomi 1, where like you hit somebody and then it like is stuck to them, and then if you walk up to them, you pick it up and then it reduces the cooldown. It's like that, except it lands on the ground. It doesn't land on the person. It just lands on the ground. They also buff her, and this her 2 does go through people now, so like you can hit multiple people. This will be her best augment by far. And then her last one is just she gets passive stacks when her ult is active. Not great. You're going to be hitting people anyways and getting it anyways. I think any augments are so strong that you have to ban a hero just because of that augment. I don't think so. It's hard to say because I haven't played on the patch enough. Seems kind of crazy for trading. I mean, it's also crazy in team fights. What's up, BB? We watched your set yesterday, by the way. At least the first one. You were kind of cooking, honestly. You had some demon jokes in there. Okay, on to the Fae. You get ability haste when you haste people with your 2. Not actually that good. It does stack infinitely technically, but it's not that good. You're going to be building haste anyways. You get diminishing returns. The more haste you have, it's not that good, not that insane. Bramble getting more range. This one is very strong. You split team fights. It means you get more range for movement speed when your rotations are happening. Like I've hit river buff and then pop this towards the lane, and it goes all the way to the 5 camp steps. So like you can get a lot of movement speed off this. It also is a slow. It makes it really hard for people to walk around in team fights. Like you can hit the back line with this through the front line. It's very strong. You can hit the 2 camp from the river buff, like through the river buff wall. It goes up the wall and then hits their 2 camp. Like you can hit the jungler on the 2 camp. It's a very far distance ability. Really strong. Very, very strong. It's probably our best augment by far. And then the right click healing, it's all right, but it's actually not that like insane, but it's okay. I've tried it. It's not like as much as you might think it is, but it is nice. The one having extra range is pretty insane. What's up, Ace? Holy! Wait, what are we saying holy to? Land people is crazy. What do you mean by that? TB, you get an extra grenade, and then using your dash also gives you another grenade. Decent. I don't think it's insane, but it's decent. Vaporize, his 1 having extra range, also decent, gives you extra chance to poke. Alt pushing people back is probably his best one. Any melee character will not be able to hit you with this. If you get hit by this, they will not be able to walk up to you. It will automatically push them away further than they can walk at you. It is very hard to walk into a TB with this. This or the grenade one is probably his best one, depending on if you're going ability based or not. But the vaporize range is also okay. All of his are kind of like average. None of them are bad. They're just all kind of like average. I wouldn't really be that upset to see any of them, to be honest. Wraith, right click doing magical damage. Not that good. Sounds better on paper than it is. His scaling is still the same. He loses it. People going, well, you can build Caustica. Okay, you build Caustica, but then you also lose the ability to get free physical pen from your 2. Not that good. It is really not as good as it sounds. it'll be okay if you're picking like 4 physical characters and then you kind of need magical damage somewhere. Then it's like, okay, well, you build this just so you do magical damage. It's not that insane. Also, his magical scaling is less than his physical scaling, so like it's not as crazy as it sounds. Um, as far as the invis affecting everybody, but having an alarm cooldown, probably his second best one. Also not insane. It doesn't like translate over. No, it just makes it, well, you get physical pen. This does magical damage, so it's like you don't get the actual pen from your 2, which makes it bad, or makes it not as good, in my opinion. But again, you could build Caustica, so it's like kind of evens out, but not really. If the 2 switched to magical pen, it would be a lot better than him, I think. As far as the invis being AoE, decent, not insane. I don't believe your teammates get the super jump. If they did, it would be a lot better, but just not crazy. The right click giving you extra gold on minion and hero kills, probably the best one by far. You get an extra 30 gold every wave. Very, very strong. I mean, you clear 5 waves there, you're up 100 gold on somebody, like easy. That math isn't even right. So you're up 150 gold on somebody, that's half an item. Like that's a lot. By 20 minutes, you're at 200 CS. Like that's an insane amount of gold, and then you're also getting free gold on kills. Very, very strong. Probably his best one by far. He's also a character that scales off items more than like anybody else. So like very, very strong character. Wukong, you can uncap the damage on the slam, pretty much. I mean, 10,000 units, you're not hitting 10,000 units. You can uncap the damage on the slam. Very strong. Not insane, but very strong, especially if you're up high. The Masterful Mimicry definitely is best one. You just get free clones. You enter the lane with 3 clones. You get them all the time. You get an extra clone as well, which makes his early game very strong. You take towers very fast. You are basically unboxable. The one thing you have to watch out for with this one is if you are playing against like a Sevarog and he just gets to stack your clones for free and all that kind of stuff, like just be careful of that. But your trade is absolutely incredible with this early game. And then the last one, you get gold on your ult. So like when you get your ultimate unlocked, you can get extra gold or you can get missing health. Just in general, on kills. I don't think it's that good though. Probably would not build this one. It just takes too long, and you don't get enough off of it. Isn't his ult unlocked level 1? I'm pretty sure you have to put a point in it. I could be wrong though, but I still don't think it's that good compared to just getting free clones all the time. Especially since like getting free clones just lets you invade anyways, because you can just go fucking clear the wave and then take camps. I was under the impression you had to be level 6 though for this. Even still though, not that great. It's unlocked level 1. Well, I know it's unlocked, but I know sometimes it's like in Smite, for example, like your ult's unlocked, but you don't actually get any of the like passive benefits until you actually put a point in it. So I assumed you had to be a certain level. Do I even play this game? I haven't played Wukong yet, but I've also only seen somebody use this once, and it was absolute dog shit. So I just assumed it only worked at level 6 and on. Either way, still ass compared to this one. This one is just too strong. Masterful Mimicry, by far the best one. It's not even close. Someone was asking earlier about drops. I believe currently there's only an Ion Core drop and then a Quantum Core if you gift the sub or regular sub. As far as drops for the next patch, I don't know if they'll have drops. I imagine they will, but I'm not sure. I've tested these. I've played a few of them. Mostly the mid lane ones. I've only played like 10 or 11 games on the patch, though. Just for like scrims. Yin, you get movement speed when you deflect something, and a shield. It's alright, not insane. Lash Kick, you get less cooldown when you hit terrain. Pretty decent, allows you to get around the map a lot more often and use it as like a mobility skill, which is very strong. Being able to clear faster because you can, jump to walls and get to camps and stuff faster, which is really nice. And then her 2, is this her 2? Yeah, her 2 lasts longer, and then you get extra missing health healing. This one is probably her best by far, but the Lash Kick is also pretty strong. Just getting your 2 to last longer allows you to you just get to use it more in team fights, so you don't have to worry about it running out and then not being able to walk people down and stuff.
We're back.
Thank you for the 19 months, man. We'll go back to the bird nest, brother. Hope you're having a great day, my bird friend. Meow, meow, meow. As far as Yurei, I haven't played her, so I don't actually know what her best ones are. I assume the storm reduction, just giving you a bunch of damage reduction, is probably her best. But being able to get extra range on your autos and bounce and stuff like that can also be really strong. I haven't played her, so I don't actually know which one's her best. So I can't comment on that character. I haven't even really seen her play. I've only seen her play once. I don't actually know what her best is. Yin is viable now with Windburn Aug. Maybe. I mean, it does last longer. You do just have less cooldown, though, or less range. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. What questions? No, don't do Rabibi like that. Okay, Zarus, you get permanent HP and mana, or permanent HP and power every minute. His best augment by far, it's not even close. The other ones aren't even worth reading. Nobody cares if your dash resets on takedowns. You could just be unkillable and do a lot of fucking damage. You just get a free item at 20 minutes. Very strong character on the next patch. Nobody cares about this. You don't throw the spear anyways. This would be better if throwing the spear actually had different stats. Throwing the spear should deal extra damage, in my opinion. You should get like an extra 30 damage when you throw the spear. You don't, so this shit sucks. Dog shit, augment, never buy this. This one, also not that good. This one, insane. Zinx, you get 2 charges, but it heals less. This shit still costs like 120 mana. Not as good as it sounds. Decent late game, but it's still, again, 120 mana to cast this, so not that good. Different one, you get extra, what's called? Passive on hit damage. There you go. So like the dot damage from her right click when you level it is increased based on the target's missing HP. Not that good. Ricochet getting bounced further, then also reducing its current cooldown. This is probably her best one by far. Just getting your stun up more often and then having it bounce like more consistently is always going to be good. Probably her best by far. As far as gameplay changes, slightly less gold drip, but the gold is put into minions, so like minion last hitting will be a little bit more relevant. You don't just get free gold for existing as much. This is a good change. As far as death timers, this is just so that in the mid game, like Orb Prime spawn, you're not dead for 70 seconds as like an ADC or something. So it's a little bit more consistent throughout the game. It's not just like 40-second death timer, 70-second death timer. It's a little bit more consistent through that mid game point of like 20 to 25 minutes, which is a little bit of a problem right now. So that'll be fixed a little bit in the next patch. Jungle, the camp spawn 5 seconds later. This basically removes leashing from the game. I think this is a bad change, in my opinion, especially since leashing literally just got put in the game. I think this is a bad change. I don't care if the jungler is ahead and they're going to be able to gank early game. Give them some agency early game because they fall off a lot having to do objectives and just fucking sit at the objectives and shit. I think this is a stupid change. Personally, why add leashing to just remove it? You'll still be able to leash like 5 camp and 3 camp specifically, like closest to your lane. But as like a mid laner, I can't help with the leash anymore on like red buff or something. But you'll definitely still with the leash on the sides of the lane, like the side lanes specifically. Still, or I guess on the 2 camp if your mid laner wants to go to the 2 camp. What's up, MT? First wheel. I got you after the. I'm finished reading this. The reload or the 4th shot augment. The reload is his worst by far. 4th shot is the best. That change is crazy. I think this change is stupid. Mini Prime significantly reduced how many prots it gives your what's called not prots damage reduction that it gives your minions. This is a really good change. Mini is basically uncontestable right now in lane. You literally just can walk up to the enemy tier 2 and take it almost. Like unless somebody comes and helps you deal with it, it is almost impossible to play against right now. It is very strong, so this is a really good change. Orb Prime, small nerf, not as big as the Orb Prime or the Mini Prime nerf. Definitely needed still. Very good change. Does TTS record on YouTube? I don't know, actually. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Blue buff. This is, again, just to compensate the fact that you're getting less gold over time. So just slightly more gold on camps in general. The only notable one here, really, is that river buff goes up to 4 creeps, or it goes up to 5 creep score instead of 4. This means you get 1 extra stack on Severog on enhanced river buffs. Other than that, you're just getting gold across the board just for the fact that you're getting less gold in general across the game. And then blue buff does more damage to minions, so starting blue is a little bit more consistent. Technically, blue and red are worth 1 extra CS, but Severog passive stacks cap at 5 anyways, so like it doesn't matter that this is actually increased on your creep score, but you'll still get 5 from each. You do technically get 1 extra on enhanced rivers though, so I feel like that's worth noting. Crunch, or I think it's just 2. The like knockup can now it now persists the entire way up. So if anybody like lands into it or like jumps into it, like they'll still get knocked up. It doesn't only hit the people that you hit directly when you cast it. So if somebody's like on a ledge, like let's say you're by the river buff and then you hit somebody with an uppercut on the bottom of the ledge and somebody's on the top of the ledge, you'll still grab the person that's on the top of the ledge too, not just the person that's on the bottom of the ledge. If as long as like your right crunch would actually hit them. So like it'll kind of follow through all the way, which is okay. Or if like somebody's jumping in the air and you like knock somebody up and then you hit the person in the air as well, you'll knock that person up as well. Finally, we'll hit Skylar Feet, maybe. Greystone, just slightly less damage on his basic, slightly less health. Slightly less regen on his passive, and then a little bit less scaling on his 2. Still going to be really strong, especially with his augments. All of his augments are very good. Grimmauld, extra magical scaling. If you're playing Mage Grim, kind of fun, but not insane. Kwong, less HP, less armor. He'll be a little squishier, less attack speed from his passive. Still going to be really strong, especially with his augments. His augments are very good. More and less HP, cooldown increased on his passive slightly, and the scaling decreased slightly. This is to compensate for the fact that his augment passive could be very oppressive, getting the cooldown reduction. Still going to be really strong. No real like super nerf to him, especially with his augments being very decent. Sereth, slightly squishier. Again, stun augment, very strong. Maybe will be a little worse with this, but I mean, I think the augments compensate for the fact that you have slightly lower base stats. Phase, longer auto attack range. I wasn't even actually aware that she had less range. This seems like a bug. I wasn't actually even aware that this was a thing. Makes her stronger in lane, I guess, especially as more of a backline like support anyways. Like you're further back to begin with, so having lower auto attack range actually is kind of like pretty detrimental. This makes her laning phase a lot better, especially against melee characters. Doesn't Grim also get reduced ult cooldown? Aug. He gets bonus damage on his ult. Doesn't reduce the cooldown though. Or sorry, he gets a reset on his ult. The cooldown one is like when you proc your passive, it resets your basic cooldown, so your shield and your 1. Rampage no longer gets camera locked on his boulder. I didn't even know this was a thing, but sure, quality of life, always good. Skylar Beam getting slightly lower damage. Still going to be really strong. Sparrow ult gets nerfed a little bit to compensate for the ult augment. The ult augment, again, absolutely insane, does a lot of fucking damage. This is nerfed as a result. Probably going to get nerfed again, honestly. They should give it an augment where jumping before portal increases range. Yeah, I agree, Denim. They should bring that back. That should be insane. This is Terrace 2. I was talking about this earlier. The 2 pierces people now. Doesn't stop on heroes. It used to stop on heroes, which I believe this also means it doesn't pull wave anymore. One of the problems with this was that you'd throw it in the wave and it would pull the wave. This should mean that it doesn't pull the wave anymore because it now becomes an AoE ability at all times, not just when you don't have the root. So that should be nice. And then no longer has a fixed range, so you can throw this shit across the map. It's more of a lob now as opposed to a straight line, so it might be a little bit like take a second to get used to using. But again, the axe just goes down so that you can pick back up and then throw it again with her augment, obviously. Wraith, slight nerf to Wraith support. You get less magical power for free, less max HP on your Q. This is more just like free stuff, mainly specifically for Wraith support. You shouldn't have to worry about this too much. Wukong, lower base stats, is going to be a little squishier. Passive is longer cooldown outside of level 18. And then damage on the stun, his like throw ability is slightly lower, and then scaling on the clones slightly decreased. Still very strong character, especially with the augments. Zinx, you'll be able to see the disc. It doesn't just disappear after the first hit, so that's good. Quality of life. Still wish I had a better sound effect so I could react to the sound effect more. And then the 2 just does more damage. Nobody cares. Doesn't really make a difference. Dread, slightly more power. Infernum, slightly more power, less haste. Doesn't really make too big of a difference. The less haste on Infernum kind of sucks, but it's like a late game option anyways, so it's like not insane of a change. Augmentation, less true damage on the hit. Not insane. Does hurt Aug, specifically for characters that like it first, like Zarus, things like that. Been playing Wraith support lately, actually a little bummed on the nerf, but definitely warranted. I mean, he'll still be really good, don't worry. He'll still be good. You get the buff and the fact that you can AoE, like, invis your team and stuff like that. And then a bunch of support items that aren't really getting built got a little bit of gold reduction. I assume this is to compensate for the fact that you get less gold over time in general, just for existing. So, like, as a result, they have to lower gold costs just so that items are a little bit more priced for supports. The main ones being, the main ones that I would look at would definitely be like Dynamo, good item, already being built, lower cost, Frosted Lore, lower cost, Galaxy Greaves, lower cost, especially with the map changes, 100 extra gold off this, and then also being able to jump a lot of walls makes this much more appealing. As far as that, like Marshall's a little more relevant, the Tainted items a little bit more relevant. True Silver doesn't really matter. Void Conduit being lower is a little relevant in my opinion, and those are kind of like the main ones. The rest are kind of just like whatever, they're not really that built anyways. Is Marshall a bad item? It's an okay item, depending on who you're playing. How much time does 50 gold actually save? Well, you get 3 gold a second, so do the math on that. It's 15 seconds. But you have to think if you build like 3 of these, that's like 45 seconds of extra gold that you're not waiting for. Right? Just for existing. It's not like an insane change, but it makes a different... It definitely would make a difference on certain builds. specifically support, but generally support just kind of build like solo lanes, jungle items anyways, or like mid lane damage items depending on what you're playing. So it doesn't make like a too big of a change, but maybe it'll make them slightly more appealing. And then just bug fixes. I'm not gonna read all these, but I will like scroll through them. If you want to pause it or clip it or do whatever to read through all these, you can. I'm not too worried about those. And then that's the end of the patch notes. And then we'll go back to the top menu tab screen. What about the tab screen? I talk about the level thing not showing. I don't know if they fixed that. I'm not reading all that, bro. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, that's it for patch. Good patch? Yeah, I would say it's a good patch. Literally, there's like two things that I dislike. One, the rank thing being too high, in my opinion. Or is it this? Going up to diamond is stupid. Should stop at platinum, in my opinion. What else? I think that was like the big one. I think there was one more in balance changes that I didn't like. Oh, the leashing. I didn't like the leashing. Those are like the two only things that I didn't really like in the patch. Everything else pretty good. I'd give this patch like a 9, honestly. 9.3. Gotta do my exit YouTube intro. I don't really have an exit YouTube intro. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Y'all are goated. Definitely more goated than them, David. That guy's a bot talking about smite items when I'm fucking reading the Predecessor patch notes. Make sure to call him a bot. Give me some meows in the comments. Meow, meow, meow. But I appreciate everybody watching.